Okay, I'm putting together a video for James Haruska, who had some interest in the car and wants some more information on paint, I guess in body and all sorts of that. So I'm going to get into that. This video is going to be a little bit of history and a little bit of information. And bear in mind, I did this car when I was in my 20s, early 20s. So the decisions I made back then, perhaps I probably wouldn't have made today. So let's take a look from the outside. Body looks very sharp, very clean. But I'll go through the whole thing as best I can. So let's start from the beginning. And we'll talk about the car color. So originally this was a yellow car. I picked this up in Ohio and brought it back. Arrgh, yeah, one-handed. Arrgh, yeah. And original body color was this. This is the only thing on the car I did not touch. So it's that custard yellow color. And as you can see, all the rust, that's basically what the whole car looked like. So originally a 318 car. When I bought it, I had the 440 already swapped out. And so for me, the vision of this car would be black on black, no trim, just simple black, incognito looking. Number one question I'm asked at a car show is, why did I paint the engine yellow? And the answer to that is, I don't know. I think I saw it somewhere. And everyone says, you know, the engine's supposed to be red. Yeah, I know, but it's yellow. So the shape of this car was bad, but not as bad as the regular 68s that I've been seeing, especially on shows. It wasn't rotted, but was actually not too bad. So I'll go through all the parts here. So this fender is the original fender, and actually all this fender was good. So the top was good. There were no holes pretty much anywhere, this except for near the bottom here. So the bottom here is a patch panel. So I don't know, you might be able to see part of it here. Yeah, so from here on in, it is all new. So I just basically shaped it as close as I could, and turned out pretty good. So the fenders are basically original. Doors are original. Doors are actually in pretty good shape. I think there was a small spot around here. So there is a small patch panel here. So by patch panel, meaning just a straight piece of metal. And I used spot welder on all of the door skin parts. So essentially just spot welded it all the way around and filled it with fiberglass. So for all of the exterior panels, patch panels, I use fiberglass on that. So the quarter panels are all new. So it was, except for top. So I used a quarter panel skin on this. So it's not the full length quarter which goes to here. It was the quarter panel skin. And just judging by what everybody else is complaining about, I'm glad I'm not the only one who thought that they were a poor fitting piece. So a lot of manipulation on these. So I fit them as close as I could, and I basically filled it in so I see a nice flat look. So you can see there's no seam here. You don't see anything. But yeah, this is all skin, all up to around here, just underneath the lip. So it was all spot welded, and I believe my dad brazed it. So he brazed it, the seam, and spot welded it, and then fiberglass all around. So the quarter panel is AMD metal all the way around. The rear valance is AMD metal. The corner caps AMD metal, and I didn't leave. So you see how there's a gap there. I made this one all round. So this is all round here. Bumpers are all original. So those were all re-chromed, all the pieces, the tips and whatnot. The tail panel here is original. The trunk lid is original. So The trunk lid is not perfect. So there's a piece, I'm going to just kind of zoom in here. Yeah, so if you can see that there and here. So if you look at it quickly, you're not going to see it. But if you do pay attention, you can see that it's got a couple spots here. And I think just generally, I didn't do the best job at the end. The rest of it is okay. There seems to be a bit of kind of a dimpling. I don't know if I can zoom in here. It's very hard to show it with all this reflection. I don't know if you can see this. Kind of like a small bubbling. It's very hard to see. A couple spots you might be able to see. So the trunk lid was not in the best shape, but of all of the back in 1996, all the ones that I could find locally were in no better shape. So I used the one that came with the car, but I had hoped to have replaced it, but I didn't. So the rear window was all rusted out, so all new metal around here, and around there and there, just like normal Chargers. And then sandblasted it, epoxy primed, and then I filled it with fiberglass. So I did not leave any of the holes for the clips. So there's no clips in this trim here. I used window seam to keep this on. So you might be able to see a little gap under there. It's not coming off, but I mean, it is not sealed right to the body like as if the clips were there. So that would be one thing maybe that would be good to be fixed. But I didn't want to put any holes in the car because of all the rust that was in there. So this is all painted and sealed, so no clips or anything like that. So same thing with the rear quarter was replaced. Also a skin on that. Door was in great condition. Just I think same thing, another patch at the bottom. Fender, there's a small patch panel at the bottom. You might be able to see just kind of inklings of it. But everything is media blasted and epoxy primed and painted. So I wanted to make sure that the body was good. And even the body man told me, or the painter told me, that he wouldn't paint it black unless the car was straight. So it took me about a year to do the body work. So I did the whole length of the car from fender to quarter panel all at the same time. So to make sure that all the panels lined up and that there's no gap. So as you can see, when with the reflection, that there's no buckles or bumps in the paint. It's all really, really straight. So the bodywork, it's very good. No bubbles anywhere. I think there's a couple minor bubbles. Where is it? I think on the other side there might be a minor bubble. Oh yeah, there's a couple minor bubbles here. No bubbles on the roof. Roof is actually in really, really straight condition. The hood does have some imperfections. I don't know, it's kind of hard to see it, but let's see if I can zoom in. Yeah, you can see a couple of little spots here. I'm not sure why those spotted up, but they did. The hood was in pretty good condition. Again, original, but when you put that the fiberglass matting on it, it does tend to burn some holes in it. So it did media blast, and epoxy prime the hood, so it's really good condition except for, you know, the couple spots that have the rusts through it, but otherwise pretty good. The shock towers were in good condition, but I did put a patch panel around the top. I believe both sides have a patch panel. Otherwise, the fender or the firewall is in really good shape. That had no rust on it. I did media blast that. The red support was chopped. For some reason, somebody chopped it in half, so that's been replaced. The front frame rails are original. They were actually not bad condition, but I did just put some thick metal patches on it and then use the acetylene torch on that. So yeah, there's a couple of patches, but everything is media blasted and primed. But yeah, I think both front frame rails have some metal patching on it. The front crossbar is from a donor car, from a 70 Coronet. So the front crossbar is original Detroit steel, and that is a replaced piece. So that was a good condition. And then essentially I just oxyacetylene welded up to the frame rail. So the frame rails from there on up, they're all original. Floor was actually in excellent condition. I've seen a lot worse floors. So this is mostly an original floor. In fact, this is all original floor, except I think the driver's side foot, I think there's a square piece I put in there. And I think they're gonna mind the leaves. It is fall, so it's near freezing today. So I just did a quick, excuse me, quick washed. So interior wise, this is original vinyl. Probably, you know, would not be bad to do an upholstery, but I didn't want to change it, so I just kind of put some tape on it. I'm not saying that the you know, this is perfect, you know, but it is original. There's no cracks on the dash. I replaced the clock with a tack. Original console. Carpet is replaced. Headliner is replaced. The rear frame rails are Detroit steel. So I had a 70 Coronet piece, if you can see. I don't know if you can see that. This is all an original 70 Coronet frame rail. Kind of hard to see there. But all epoxy coated inside and out. I don't know if I can get in there. But the whole rear frame rail clip, including the crossbar, is all from that 70 piece. Let's open the trunk. A little dusty, but basically we had we replaced the trunk liner. So this is a two-piece trunk liner with a seam in the middle, but I did a good job covering up that seam so you can't really see it. But we did new trunk extensions, new trunk. Outer wheel housing is new, both sides. Inner wheel housing is original, so that's original, and that's original. Quarter panels, I did a tar coating on the inside. You can kind of see maybe where the seam is. Generally hard to see. The because of the trunk floor was replaced, I kind of lost the spare tire hooks and the jack hooks on it, so instead I just kind of made my own spare tire bracket that sits in the remaining part of the trunk. I also put a small jack here, so it just kind of sits at the back, so there's nothing kind of floating here. I did mount the battery in the trunk. Don't ask me why, but I did. And I ran a fuse box to the rear. I think mostly because of the wiring in this car was all chewed up by mice, so I had to redo all the wiring anyways, and I figured might as well add some extra fuses. And I think also because it's so easy to steal these cars that I put a alarm, and I wanted to put the battery in the trunk to deter thieves. I think that was the thinking there. There is a remote antenna. So as you can see, this is a power antenna. So it's from it's an aftermarket antenna. I can't remember what application that is, but instead of having the original one that sticks up all the time, this one retracts. So these wheels, these are 7-inch in the front, 8-inch in the back. They're from Summit Racing. I can get I can't remember the part number exactly, but they're vintage. What's it called? Vintiques? Can't remember. Anyways, yeah. So those rims are all new metal as well. So what would I give the body? I'd give the body a 10. I don't think you can find any imperfections in my bodywork or the fabrication, right? So if you see this here, this piece here, this was actually all rusted up to here. So I fabricated this whole bottom part here, right? I kind of got good at fabricating metal, so I'm gonna pat myself on the back and give the body a 10. Paint wise, I would say I don't know why all that bubbling happened. I don't know why the hood had those marks on it, but I would say the paint, I give it 8 or 9. So this is not a show car, I would say. This is just a great little driver car. I get compliments when I drive it, when I go to shows. It's nothing to be embarrassed about. Lines are straight. You know, seems like the only criticism I've been getting is when I put the car up for sale, and all the armchair enthusiasts seem to just want to call me up and insult me on the work that I did. So it's been an unpleasant experience selling this car, and I hope to never sell the car again. But but that is it, and I think it's pretty much everything about the car. So the fenders, when I was sanding them, I got a brilliant idea on how to maintain that curve on top of that fender. So what I actually did was I scored a line on the top of the fender, as you can kind of see a little bit there. I scored a line and I sanded towards that line. So I did kind of sanding this way and sanding that way, and the finish on the fenders was really good. And after I painted it, about a year later, I could notice the line here. I don't know if you can see, you can kind of see that line here. So you can kind of see a line at the top of the fenders, and that was from the both sides have it. One is, I think, passenger's not so bad. I think the driver's side's worse. Yeah, this side you can't really see it, but the driver's side you can, yeah, kind of see, if you see a line there. So that for sure is an imperfection. Yep. Well, that's anyway that's the tour. If you have any questions, for sure, let me know. And I'd be happy to answer.